You're watching 2 News Oklahoma at 6.
Thank you for spending your Thursday evening with us. I'm Karen Larson.
And I'm Naomi Kitt. Our top story tonight, families cleaning up after a string of overnight storms ripped through the central part of the state.
Now we want to show you some of the video. This is one of a rain-wrapped tornado that absolutely just tore through so many towns. Then you're looking down there at Shawnee. That is crumpled up of what the remains of an airport hangar as well.
And then if you take a look here, this is actually a Lowe's. There is a lot of damage there. It looks like a lot of damage to the roof, things all thrown about in the wind. Down here is actually one of the school systems in Shawnee. You can see the roof is ripped off of that building. And the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office confirmed 3 people died because of the storm, 2 of them from the community of Cole. That's just outside of Oklahoma City. A number of others were injured. And the path of destruction left behind debris for miles.
OHP Trooper Eric Foster says that rescue efforts are difficult in the rural area. He says it's a process that is going to take days, noting that the significant damage, downed trees and power lines are delaying their efforts. Now, power is out everywhere around Shawnee tonight. Homeowners really trying to do their best to get around all the damage from Wednesday's tornado.
2 News Oklahoma's Tony Russell is live in Shawnee. Tony, you got a chance to talk with a family who actually rode out that storm in a garage.
Yeah, Karen and Naomi, I just want to quickly show you the damage that we're seeing all around Shawnee. That right there is part of Shawnee High School's multi-purpose facility. Thankfully, when the tornado came through last night, there was nobody on campus whatsoever. That is the great news. And there is a lot of damage in this area that we've been showing you all throughout the day. A lot of traffic. Even at one point, Interstate 40 was shut down in both directions as they try to clear debris off the roads. That's coming from Oklahoma's Department of Emergency Management. But really, we had a chance to go about a mile north of us from here and just around the road. You know, there's a lot of attention to the damage here in Shawnee, but this tornado hit several homes just north of us. Riding out Wednesday's tornado felt like an eternity for the Short family.
You knew something was going on, something was hitting the house, and we knew it was pretty serious. And you know, you hear people say, you know, it seemed like it was a couple of minutes, but it was probably only 10 seconds. No, this was a couple of minutes at least. And it was scary. And then when we called some people that said, hey, it's north of you, we got out, opened the door, and the whole side of the house on this side, the brick had just fallen off.
Doyle Short and his wife don't have a storm shelter, so they felt the best thing to do was ride out the storm in the garage and inside their car. And from the air, parts of his home sustained severe damage.
My shop is just flattened.
The Short family has to walk out because a giant high-voltage transmission line is down across their gravel driveway. And yards away, Jody McCain and her family are grateful they're okay, and so are their horses.
You know, you take the good with the bad, and the house is still here. There's a couple broken windows. There's obviously roofing missing, but it's okay.
And you rode it out?
We rode it out in the hallway. We're staying here, and God is good.
So the barn's over there?
What's left of it, the barn is there and through here.
One of McCain's paint horses was trapped by the debris and cut up. The horses are expected to be okay, and a vet is on the way.
You know, it's just stuff. We had a car that we were just starting to redo this week in the garage. The trees all in it. So, you know, I have an 82 Cutlass that's now scrap. We've got, you know, the barn's gone. The hay that was in it is not cheap anymore. It's gone. But the grain's all there.
Obviously, classes canceled today here in Shawnee, and they will be closed tomorrow. The school district superintendent telling me they still have to do damage assessments and obviously have to secure that building behind me. Reporting live in Shawnee tonight, Tony Russell, 2 News Oklahoma.
Also in Shawnee, you know, every building on the campus of Oklahoma Baptist University is damaged after it was in the direct path of that tornado. All across the campus, trees ripped right out of the ground, dorms and buildings, some without roofs. Many students' cars disfigured and damaged. Now, luckily, no one was hurt or injured or killed. University President Heath Thomas says his students followed tornado protocols and took shelter.
What I'm very happy to report is we have no reported injuries and no reported fatalities. And, where I'm from, that's kind of hallelujah territory.
Dr. Thomas says he guarantees students will have finals, though he's not sure when they'll be able to go back to the classroom. They have canceled classes for the rest of the week.
Emergency management officials continue to assess that damage. Wednesday, several supercells formed, bringing large hail, strong winds, and tornadoes to the central part of the state. Along with emergency officials, Governor Kevin Stitt toured the impacted areas today. He declared a state of emergency in 5 counties, enabling federal partners to bring in additional assistance.
Which was unbelievable. And in Cole, we had 2 fatalities here, and I think there was one more in Pottawatomie County. But it could have been a lot worse from the damage that I've seen across the state.
State resources are helping with the cleanup that is going to take a while. The National Weather Service is still surveying the extent of that damage.
Now, your 2 News Oklahoma first forecast, sponsored by Executive Homes.
Well, all is quiet this afternoon. The storms we saw earlier today in southeast Oklahoma have now departed the state and moving off into Arkansas at this current time. Meanwhile, here in northeast Oklahoma, we are dry at this time, so we're looking good here in our area as northwest winds continue to pull in some drier air. Tulsa at 74 degrees at this hour, so still mild. McAllister 72. Cooler air in the Panhandle where temperatures are in the mid-50s out in Boise City. And that cooler air continues to pull to the south. Outside right now, Wade's RV Weather Camera Network, we have mostly cloudy skies at this hour. Temperatures will fall down to a pleasant 63 degrees by 10 o'clock as skies gradually clear. We are tracking cooler weather and the chance for rain. More on that with your 10-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Mike, thank you. Tonight, the lawyer for a Tulsa widow is calling the lack of an investigation by the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office incomprehensible. Mitchell Garrett says the OSBI was never called, there is no medical examiner's report, and no calls were ever made to family about the in-custody death of Bobby Barrick. Today, Garrett announced a wrongful death lawsuit in this case. All of this as Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt calls for the sheriff and others to resign over offensive audio recordings published by the local paper. 2 News Oklahoma anchor Erin Christie has the latest from McCurtain County.
The attorney says that all of the events leading to today, those audio recordings from the McCurtain Gazette, are inexplicably linked to this case because it shows that the people who are running this county are lacking proper procedure and violating laws. Bobby Barrick lived in Tulsa but was in town visiting family last March. An altercation of some kind ensued inside a convenience store that led to Bobby Barrick being hogtied by a group of construction workers. Attorneys claim when officers arrived, they used unreasonable force that resulted in his death days later.
Hey, turn your feet around. Hey,
help me, ma'am.
Turn your feet around.
They're going to kill me.
His wife, Barbara, says she's grateful to the local newspaper, the McCurtain Gazette, for getting open records after having them repeatedly denied by the sheriff's office and being persistent after a lack of investigating.
I really do praise Bruce and his son Chris at the Gazette for being so persistent and brave with not only my husband's case, but with so many others.
Now, I also spoke with the deputy who was wearing the body camera in that video. He can't talk a lot because of this pending litigation, but told me over the phone, when Bobby Barrick was screaming, "They're gonna kill me," he says he was referring to the group of construction workers, not the deputies on scene. He also says he did not turn off his body camera, that it was turned off during a struggle with Bobby Barrick to get him under control. In McCurtain County, Erin Christie, 2 News Oklahoma.
That lawsuit is just the latest from McCurtain County that resulted in Governor Kevin Stitt and several other officials calling for their resignation. So how did we get here? Well, here's a look at the timeline that centers around that local newspaper. For 2 years, the McCurtain Gazette has investigated possible corruption and case mishandling within the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office. After speculating county commissioners were conducting public business behind closed doors, the publisher says he legally left behind a voice-activated recorder after one meeting was set to end. The paper then published clips that outraged the nation. In one, Sheriff Kevin Clarity, Jail Administrator Larry Hendricks, Investigator Alicia Manning, and County Commissioner Mark Jennings are allegedly heard making racist comments and plotting to kill the Gazette journalists.
I was going to take them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the rope. Yeah. But you can't do that. The thing about it is, they got more rights than we got.
Wednesday night, a second article was published. This time, instead of clips, the entire 3-hour meeting is transcribed, where the group banters between conducting county business and crass conversation about elected officials, victims, and suspects. Commissioner Jennings is the only one to resign. A community protest is planned for Saturday in Idabel.
The woman responsible for a deadly crash that took 5 lives is back in custody tonight. The Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals says Kimberly Graham will have to finish her 107-year sentence. I talked with the sister of one of her victims today, who says they finally have justice.
He was the guy that never met a stranger. He genuinely connected with people.
Bobby Nickel will never forget her brother, Casey Jones. At 29 years old, his life was cut short. He, along with 4 others, were hit by a drunk driver and killed in 2007. Kimberly Graham was behind the wheel.
I personally feel obligated to advocate for my brother. He's not here and he can't.
Graham was about 13 years into her 107-year sentence when she was released from prison because of the McCurtain ruling. That decision upheld tribal jurisdiction. But in an Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals ruling this week, the judges said because the convictions in her case were final before McCurtain, that ruling doesn't apply.
I definitely am a little lighter today. It couldn't have been better news for me.
But Graham's attorney Richard O'Carroll says he's not done fighting.
The issue here is state procedural law.
O'Carroll says Tulsa County District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler should have appealed when Graham was released in 2021.
If you don't appeal, you can't come along 4 months later and say, we're changing the law.
In a statement, Kunzweiler said, quote, "The argument Mr. O'Carroll makes today is the same argument he made to the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. It failed." For Nickel, she's just thankful her brother's killer is back behind bars.
I'm thankful that our justice system finally served some justice.
Graham's attorney filed an emergency stay of the court's decision this morning. That stay was denied. He plans to file a federal appeal on Monday, saying his client's due process was violated.
Coming up tonight, a small victory in the fight against homelessness in Tulsa. What's being done to give homes to the homeless?
And meteorologist Emma Landeros explains more about last night's deadly tornado outbreak, what the weather experts saw, showing them what Oklahoma was in store for.
You're watching 2 News Oklahoma at 6 with Karen Larson, Naomi Kitt, Oklahoma's chief meteorologist Mike Collier, and sports with Caden McFarland.
Another tiny homes community is in the works right here in Tulsa. This one, Eden Village of Tulsa, will house those who are considered chronically homeless.
2 News Oklahoma senior reporter Justin Ayer explains what it would take to get into one of the homes.
Tulsa is one of 13 communities that plans to have one of these Eden Village communities. They say since homelessness is a problem nationwide, they really can't have enough. The 63-home community will be near Charles Page Boulevard and the Gilcrease Expressway. They'll all be privately funded and cost $350 a month. Rules to live there include having an income, no guns or drugs, and being a law-abiding citizen. The concept began in Springfield, Missouri, where they've reportedly been a success. Pastor Chris Buskirk sponsored a home and believes it could be a long-lasting solution.
Churches all over Tulsa have been night by night helping someone find a 1 or 2 night solution. But that costs $70 a room usually, and in 2 days the same person's right back in the same circumstances.
I told you the City Lights Foundation of Oklahoma is planning to build their own tiny home community in North Tulsa, but some living nearby believe property values and safety will decrease.
Organizers say by the end of the year they're hopeful to have the community center done with about 9 to 20 homes. Justin Ayer, 2 News, Oklahoma.
It was stormy out there all across the area last night. Kind of scary.
Yeah, the whole weather team, you guys were on par right there.
Well, thank you so much. You know, those storms yesterday were truly just textbook looking on our radar. And we're going to explain a little more with that with meteorologist Emma Landeros.
Well, the tornadic supercell that moved across Pink, Oklahoma into Shawnee was a textbook supercell. And you can really see that play out. It's going to have a pause point here because I want you to really see that tornadic supercell. This is what we would call textbook. Now I want to go ahead and play this out because this storm did something very interesting. As you continue to play that out slowly, you can really start to see these two circulations interact and rotate around each other. This right here is what we call a Fujiwara effect. Typically, this is referred to tropical cyclones that are near each other. However, last night's storm was a rare phenomena. Emma Landeros, 2 News, Oklahoma.
Yesterday was really unique, even for Oklahoma's standards. Now we're starting to see our pattern change to a cooler pattern and a wetter pattern across the area as we see temperatures well below normal to the northwest of us. It's this cool air that's eventually going to slide to the south. I mean, not 30s, thank goodness, but it is cold to the north of us. Billings at 39, Denver at 44 degrees, and then we have the warm air across the central eastern United States. This cooler than normal air is going to slide to the south and hang out for the next 7 to 10 days across the state of Oklahoma and much of the central and eastern United States. All is quiet and dry right now here in northeast Oklahoma. Had some storms down in southeast Oklahoma earlier. Those have moved out, and we are in the clear now all here in eastern Oklahoma. So we're looking good through the remainder of the evening hours. If you have any outdoor plans, expect dry and tranquil weather. Next week, not dry and luckily not severe either. No severe weather anticipated next week, as this is more of just a cool April wet pattern. April showers bring May flowers, right? Well, finally, we're getting some showers in the forecast for much of next week, 1 to 3 inches across pretty much all of the state of Oklahoma. Some areas will get more, some areas will get a little less. We'll be able to fine tune those exact details as we get closer, but at least we have the opportunity for rain in our forecast for the whole state. Finally, it's been too long and way too long for this to happen. But here we go. So we'll be thankful for what we're getting. 73 degrees is our normal high. We're going to be below that tomorrow and then below that through the extended. I mean, look at Tuesday's highs in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. It's just because of the clouds and the showers in the area. No frost or freeze is expected for most of us here in eastern Oklahoma. If we saw a few breaks Sunday morning, that would be the highest probability east of the metro region into far eastern Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas. But right now, I think the clouds are going to keep us in the safe zone as far as that's concerned. Lower 60s though in the afternoon, and it's going to feel a lot cooler compared to the 80s and 70s we've enjoyed the past couple weeks. For instance, right now we're at 75, today's high 78, and we're still warm with the northwest wind at 13 miles per hour. But again, that will change as we head into next week. Can't rule out a sprinkle tomorrow morning, but with mostly cloudy skies, it should be just relatively dry. Tomorrow afternoon, sunshine back to 70 degrees, a little cooler out to the west, upper 60s. But all in all, really nice Friday in store for the area. The weekend, not bad, dry, cool, north winds, 10 to 20 miles per hour, chilly nights, and then wet and damp, cool. Many words to describe next week. We'll, of course, get through that and then eventually start to see those temperatures warm up. But we need the rain, so this is going to be a good thing for us here in eastern Oklahoma.
Now, 2 News Oklahoma Sports.
And welcome into sports, everybody. A progress report from 11th and Harvard. TU football wrapping up spring practice this week. No spring game this year, so we'll have to take Kevin Wilson's word for it. And the Golden Hurricanes' new head coach says he is mostly encouraged with what he's seen so far this spring.
Trending up because we have more good days. I mean, I still like the question was asked earlier. I would like to be able to do more. I don't know if we're deep enough or strong enough to do as much as I'd like to do yet. Not play-wise. Like how much your offense and just pushing guys like, hey, there's a little bit more in the tank. Right now, we're kind of building up what's in that tank. We're working really hard to just take the group we got, keep molding it. I got a little polishing to do. But I've not felt any urge of, I got a major problem I got to fix. The problem I got is I'm just working hard to get everybody on the same page and working together. For 14 practices, I mean, we're practicing like a good-looking team.
Says he really likes his safeties and tight ends right now. Wilson, let us watch some of practice today. Some of my takeaways from that coming up in our next half hour. He has more than 1 million followers on TikTok, and now Bartlesville native James Draws, the super fan who made "What Happened" a catchphrase, gets to play an important role for his favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, at the NFL Draft next week.
And we actually had a surprise for you if you're free. If you want, we think you'd be a great person to announce one of our day 3 selections on stage on Saturday in Kansas City. How's that sound?
Yes, I'm excited to go. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, AJ Green, I am coming! Let's go!
Oh, you love to see it. As you heard, Droves will make the announcement of the Chiefs pick on day 3 of the draft, which is being held in Kansas City this year. Let's go is right. Thunder General Manager Sam Presti giving his year in review press conference today. Things are looking up, of course. We're going to hear from Presti tonight at 10. That's it for sports, and we'll be right back.
2 News Oklahoma Extra Edition at 6:30 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Naomi Kitt.
I'm Karen Larson. We want to show you what's making headlines tonight. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt declared a state of emergency in 5 counties following devastating storms Wednesday night. Several supercells formed in the central part of the state, bringing large hail, strong winds, and tornadoes to the area. A large tornado touched down near the towns of Cole and Dibble, killing 3 people and causing extensive damage to homes and property. Several reports indicate at least 8 tornadoes touched down in the Sooner State.
Oklahoma death row inmate Richard Glossop is not getting a new trial after the appellate court denied his request. Convicted of murder for his role in the death of his former boss, Glossop's been on death row for 25 years. A recently released report from an independent counsel found serious mistakes in the case, including evidence left out. The report suggests his co-defendant, Justin Sneed, lied. It adds to the argument of innocence by Glossop's many supporters, which includes several state lawmakers.
The Rogers County Sheriff's Office makes an arrest after a woman is found shot in the head last night. According to the Sheriff's Office, Jericho Haverstick shot the Inola woman, whom deputies say had to be flown to a hospital for treatment. He now faces charges of shooting with intent to kill and obstruction of justice.
Well, things could get heated at tonight's Jenks Planning Commission meeting.
And this is all the controversy over the proposal of a new baseball facility. Samson Tamajani is working on this story for us.
The Jenks Planning Commission might see one of its more heated meetings of the year tonight. It centers around proposed land use for a competition baseball facility. Many opponents of the idea live in the area around 106th Street and Elm, and so they don't want more commercial development. Tonight, we'll have the decision from the commission and reaction from neighbors. In Jenks, Samson Tamajani, 2 News, Oklahoma.
And it was a stormy night last night. A lot of damage out there.
Those storms just did not move, Mike. They were so powerful.
Yeah, they were just feeding off a very unstable atmosphere to our southwest. As they eventually rolled east, encountered more of a cap, which kept a lid on the thunderstorms. Eventually it decayed, but now some thunderstorms continue across Arkansas. Those are moving away from our area. Temperatures today have been in the 70s across the state of Oklahoma. Ardmore at 72 and Lawton coming in at 76 degrees. Tulsa right now we're in the mid 70s. Outside right now, Wade's RV Weather Camera Network, mostly cloudy skies. We'll see the skies clear and temperatures drop down into the lower 60s by 10 o'clock. We are tracking, however, some big changes with increasing chances for rain and cooler weather. More on that with your 10-day in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. The 25th annual Interfaith Holocaust commemoration is being held tonight at Temple Israel in Tulsa. Landon Grove, the director and curator of the Ritchie History Museum in Cascade, Maryland, will be the guest speaker. Grove will be speaking about the Ritchie Boys, a group of nearly 20,000 soldiers, and 6 of them are from Oklahoma.
If you have the courage to stand up for what is right, ultimately, you will be, in many ways, remembered for this incredible thing that can be done no matter what.
They're also planning a candlelight ceremony to honor the 6 Oklahoma Ritchie Boys. The commemoration is free for children 12 and under.
A brand new playground is coming to Tulsa where children of all abilities can go to play. It's at the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. The accessible playground provides an opportunity for children with physical challenges that's not often offered. The chance to enjoy the playground experience. There's ramps leading to slides, a balance beam, a variety of climbing options, and a lot of other things. For children in wheelchairs, there's a wheelchair-accessible aero glider, twirl-a-whirl, play panels, even some musical options. The playground is expected to open at the end of May, just in time for summer.
You toss, you turn, you keep fluffing up your pillow, but as hard as you try, you just can't fall asleep. Well, this is why about 30% of people say that they have taken supplements to try and sleep better. Here's 2 News Oklahoma problem solver Pete Knutson with more.
You toss, you turn, you keep fluffing that pillow. But as hard as you try, you just can't fall asleep. This is why about 30% of people say they've taken supplements to sleep better.
If you're consistently losing sleep, studies have shown it can wreak havoc on your body and increase your risk for anxiety and depression.
Unlike sleep medication, which is prescribed by a doctor, sleep supplements can be found over the counter. Store shelves are stocked with pills claiming to help you sleep, like melatonin, which is a naturally produced hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle and helps control when you're sleepy and when you feel awake. Evidence does suggest that taking melatonin can help you doze off about 7 minutes faster on average.
Research shows it may be useful for people with jet lag or certain sleep disorders, but be sure not to overdo it. You don't want to interfere with your body's natural production of melatonin.
Other supplements you may find promoted out there to help you sleep include CBD, which is a compound that is found in both hemp and marijuana, and it doesn't get you high. Some early research suggests CBD may be a reasonable treatment for insomnia, but a lot more research still needs to be done. One study suggests that if your vitamin D levels are low, adding it may help you nod off faster and sleep longer. And if it's restless leg syndrome keeping you up at night, your doctor may suggest taking iron.
If you do decide to try a supplement, be sure to look for a trustworthy seal on the bottle from a group like US Pharmacopoeia, ConsumerLab.com, or NSF.
And don't forget, you can also supplement your sleep supplements, perhaps with a white noise machine. CR experts thought the Magic Team Sound Machine's white noise machine was the perfect combination of inexpensive and easy to use with high-quality sound. Other things you can do to help you sleep better? Limit your screen time before bed and cut out consuming any caffeine after lunchtime. Pete Knutson, 2 News Oklahoma, Problem Solvers.
Coming up next on Extra Edition, another Positively Oklahoma.
Dad, he always told the story that was the only one that ever made me hoop and holler and do a little jig in the garden.
2 News anchor Julie Chin shares the story of Daryl Merrill. He was known as Tulsa's Tomato Man, and how the fruits of his labors now live on through his daughters.
And later, some exciting Pioneer Woman news. Find out what will have you hitting the road and on your way to Pawhuska.
Spring planting season is underway, which means, it is a really busy time for a Tulsa family that's been a go-to for green country gardeners for decades.
In tonight's Positively Oklahoma, 2 News anchor Julie Chin takes us to the Tomato Man's daughter, celebrating 30 years of the fruit of their labor.
Every one of these tomatoes has a story.
And the story of how they came to be is a love story spanning generations at the Tomato Man's daughter.
Being able to carry on Dad's legacy and to actually be working with the exact same seed stock that he started with and to be able to carry that on just is an honor.
This is a plant nursery with deep Oklahoma roots. Here you'll find 200 heirloom varieties.
To be a true heirloom, you have to be 50 years old or older.
Including more than 80 types of tomatoes.
Our most popular variety that we sell now is the Cherokee Purple.
But what the Tomato Man's daughter is most proud of is growing tradition.
Dad started this, became known as the Tomato Man here in Tulsa, and he started in 1993. Just as a hobby and just because he wanted to have a great tasting tomato.
But Daryl Merrill quickly became a man on a mission.
He ended up getting to educate through television programs, gardening programs. He'd always say, you don't need to be growing grass. You need to grow things that you can actually eat.
When he passed away in 2008, Lisa stepped in to carry on.
He just loved being the Tomato Man, and so I had told him, I said, well, Dad, what do you think about me calling it the Tomato Man's daughter? He's like, oh, Lisa girl, I love that idea.
Lisa's nursery sits only a mile away from the Tomato Man's. She's not the only family member here. Lisa's sister Pam joined the team in 2017.
The question is always, are you the daughter? And my response is, well, yes, but I'm not the daughter. I'm the other daughter. And they're like, oh. Oh, we didn't know there was another daughter.
With roots in retail, Pam handles the business and social media side of things.
Have you ever grown pineapple sage?
The sisters tell me they grow with organic methods and the plants are acclimated to Oklahoma weather. You can purchase plants during 2 seasons, April and May, and again in July. Do you have any guess on how many plants you grow a season?
I know how many.
Okay, how many?
Well, for both seasons combined, it's over 30,000 plants out of my kitchen.
Out of your kitchen? Yes. From there, they go just a few steps to the greenhouses in Lisa's backyard.
I get to come out in my pajamas and tend to all these plants. And we walk in and I'd say, "Good morning, babies. You look so pretty." And we play the music and brush them.
The sisters pour a lot of work and love into the plants, just like Dad. What do you think your dad would think about all of this?
Oh my goodness. He would, I'm sure he's laughing at us. I know he is so proud.
And Shirley's smiling as the Tomato Man's granddaughter now learns about the family heirlooms too.
I'm trying to carry that on, so maybe we'll just have another generation of that. We can hope. No pressure, no pressure. No pressure, Ruby.
In Tulsa, Julie Chin, 2 News Oklahoma.
Now, your 2 News Oklahoma weather, sponsored by Executive Homes.
Temperatures much cooler than normal to the northwest of us. This cool air is going to continue to push south, and over the next 10 days, we are going to see temperatures below normal, and that begins tomorrow and sticks around all the way through the next 10 days as we switch our pattern to a cooler and wetter pattern, a more typical April pattern for us than what we've seen. Temperatures still warm though in Tulsa in the mid-70s, 77 down in Dallas and Houston, near 80 degrees in Memphis, and Atlanta 81. But this cool air to the northwest eventually will move south. Luckily, we're not expecting a frost or freeze, or at least a widespread frost or freeze across the area. So gardeners, you should be okay because of cloud cover rolling in just in time for that cooler air to move in as well. Rainfall is going to be really beneficial to the area across the state. This is the most rain we've had projected across the state probably in about 7 months. That's how long it's been since we've had a soaking rain in western Oklahoma and in eastern Oklahoma. We'll take it. And this will begin on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's not going to fall at once, which is even better. A slow, steady rain is what we need to help us get us elevated out of that drought, especially for western and north central Oklahoma. And again, that begins on Monday, but with the rain comes clouds and cooler temperatures. Temps dropping down into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees for highs. So say goodbye to the 80s, say goodbye to the 70s for the most part as cooler weather moves in for much of next week. The weekend will feel cool. 61 on Saturday, 60 on Sunday overnight. Lows chilly in the 40s. I'm coaching my son's soccer team, and I am going to freeze Saturday morning as that north wind will be howling, and temperatures generally in the 40s and 50s start in the morning, only 61 by afternoon, 60 degrees on Sunday. Mid-70s right now in Tulsa. Sunset will be at 8:02 on our Wade's RV Weather Camera Network. We have some high to mid-level clouds rolling across the area. Those will thin out and will start to clear later this evening. Temperatures today climbed in the upper 70s, starting the day in the 60s. Tomorrow morning, clouds will thicken again. Could see a few sprinkles in the area. 49 in the metro, Bartlesville 44. But by afternoon, sunshine, upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Great day for golfers. If you're going to go golf tomorrow afternoon, perfect weather for that. The weekend, not bad, just cool. 60s for highs. Here comes a chance for rain and storms Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week with upper 50s and 60s. You know, it's just that time of year you need to plan and prepare for severe weather. Meteorologist Andy Brown helps us out with that.
With a record number of tornadoes in Oklahoma so far this year for both January as well as February, along with the most recent outbreaks to our neighboring states, now more than ever, we need to take extra precautions to make sure we stay safe this spring. From tornadoes to hail and flooding, first aid expert and CEO of Dry Sea, Brad Greer, says having a first aid kit ready to go could make an already stressful situation a little more manageable.
Have a first aid kit. Have it on each floor of your home. Have one in each automobile. And the first aid kit in your automobile, have it reachable. Don't have it in a trunk.
Data from the CDC shows 48% of Americans do not have emergency supplies, and 44% don't even have a basic first aid kit in their home.
Well, have a plan with your family, an emergency plan in case there are tornadoes or serious weather events. Make sure that tornado basement is ready to be occupied, have water, snacks available. Take extra precaution with your elders and young people.
Greer also recommends some items to have in your kit, such as bandages, gauze, antibiotic ointments, antiseptics, alcohol wipes, items that would help you dress a wound before first responders arrive.
We travel in bad weather in Oklahoma, and at times we're overconfident, but have those first aid items in your car and have an emergency phone charger. In case you lose power to the car or your phone goes dead, you can contact emergency personnel.
These are steps you can take right now that can give you peace of mind and an easier route to find safety when you might need it. In studio, meteorologist Danny Brown, 2 News Weather.
Now, 2 News Oklahoma Sports.
And welcome back into sports, everybody. Coming to you tonight from here at 11th and Harvard, just outside Chapman Stadium, where for the third and final time this spring, we got a chance to watch the Tulsa Golden Hurricane practice. New head coach Kevin Wilson meeting with the media earlier today. First bit of news, that defensive coordinator position, the open defensive coordinator position, it sure sounds like Wilson really likes the job his assistant coaches are doing without a coordinator in place so far this spring. Says he likes the scheme, it's fit to the kids. And if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that he promotes somebody from that staff currently to the position of defensive coordinator and then backfills that position. However, he does still hold that card and could go make a splashy defensive coordinator hire at some point this summer. With regard to how this team is looking so far, a spring progress report, if you will. Wilson admits they are not a finished product, but he likes the talent he has on hand. He likes the way this team is rounding into shape.
That middle of the defense is pretty good. I think our skill positions at corner, skill positions at receiver, I think tight end, O-line, quarterback. The middle of our team looks pretty good. And if we're a baseball team, we're kind of good in the middle. I'd like to be a little bit better on the fringes and have those kids. There's just some youthfulness out there that we need to develop our perimeter skill. And then we need to see what we get in the kicking game as we enhance that and as we move forward. But there's been some good group. We got some good players. Got some damn good players.
No spring game for the Golden Hurricane this year, so just a couple more practices this week, and then those summer workouts begin. That season opener against Arkansas Pine Bluff right here at Chapman Stadium, August the 29th. That's it for sports. Back with more right after this.
The Pioneer Woman Mercantile is bigger and better and ready for your visit to Pahuska. The big grand reopening happened today after the shop closed to expand and make some upgrades to the restaurant. Visitors used to find a deli takeout style place, but Ree and Lad Drummond decided that wasn't good enough. They've made several renovations over the last few years to the Mercantile, including the oh so popular bakery. That is back open as well. So if you do visit, you want to make sure to grab something yummy.
Oh my gosh, I'm hungry now.
Their bakery is amazing.
So
good. So amazing.
Seen it. I need to go up there and see. Have you seen it too?
I've not been there. So.
Oh, okay, so
it's worth the trip.
You got the jump on us. There we go. Well, today is April 20th, and that means it's 420. It's a holiday for cannabis enthusiasts. Where did the special day come from? Well, the official origin's not really known, but apparently since the 70s, on this date, those who partake around the world celebrate their love for the plant and its benefits. The Institute of Medicine noted the therapeutic values of THC, including relief of some symptoms of HIV/AIDS, cancer, multiple sclerosis, and anxiety. While marijuana is legal in some form in many states, including Oklahoma, the U.S. federal government still lists marijuana as a Schedule I substance.
Well, a rare hybrid solar eclipse appeared over Western Australia, one of the few places in the world that was able to see the cosmic event. Visitors across the country and the world poured into the town of Exmouth to get a glimpse of this rare solar event when the sun, the earth, and the moon aligned to an awe-inspiring effect. On Wednesday, scientists, eclipse hunters, and enthusiasts all gear up for the occasion, meeting at this viewing site in the town. And we are going to have a total solar eclipse in less than a year down in southeast Oklahoma.
Ooh, wow.
It is going to be in totality. And then 34 years after that, because I was doing the math, actually 24, when I'm 64 years old, it will go right over Tulsa, the totality of the eclipse. So that'll be the next one. So look forward to that.
Absolutely.
All right. I know a lot of numbers there. But anyway, we'll talk more about that in the coming years. 70 degrees on your Friday, 60s for the weekend, cooler weather. And then here comes a chance for rain and storms. Much needed rain along with those cooler temps, upper 50s, lower 60s. And then we head into the 60s for Thursday and Friday of next week with those showers and storms diminishing. I think we'll start to dry out some by the following weekend with temperatures starting to rebound back into the upper 60s and lower 70s. You notice those lows are going to be a little chilly in the 40s and 50s over the next 7 to 8 days.
A little chilly. And let's hope for some soaking rains.
Yes,
that would be the best, right? After last night?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. See you at 10.